Hey, give it back.
Why? You don't need any more. You're a disgusting fat pig.
Mom, Jeff called me a disgusting fat pig.
Jeff, do not call your sister a fat pig.
Well, she is turning into a little porker.
See, even Dad thinks you're a fat pig.
I was teased a lot because I'm overweight.
We still eat it anyways.
Actually, some vegetarians eat fish.
A lot of it was behind my back, but then a lot of it was also to my face, which made me feel terrible.
Hi.
Hi.
Wouldn't it be quicker if you just smeared that on your thighs?
Yeah, can you say carbs? You're so big, you're blocking the sun.
Wait, you got a little chocolate right there.
I know I'm not the only one. This sort of thing happens all the time.
My name is Emmy, and as the first plus-size supermodel, trust me, I know what it's like to be judged based on my size. But I'm also a mom, and now one of my life's greatest passions is to be a part of creating a world where children can grow up happy, successful, and fulfilled at any size. I hope you're willing to join me in that effort. During this program, we're going to take a look at what weight bias is, how it shows up at home and school, who its victims and sources are, what its consequences are, and what we as parents and teachers can do to improve the lives of children we're surrounded by. But first, let's take a look at how prevalent this problem is. Obesity in children and adults has doubled in the past 20 years. Alarmingly, it's tripled in teens. 1 in 5 American children is overweight, and overweight children tend to become overweight adults. 30% of adults are obese, and we're right on track for this trend to continue. There are many efforts underway to address childhood obesity, but we aren't going to solve the nutritional and lifestyle changes that plague our nation in the next 20 minutes. But what we are going to do is share with you some new perspectives and tools that can help you as parents and teachers stem the tide of prejudice in our school system and even at home, so that children do not remain vulnerable to the negative impact of bias and stigma, and so that we may all begin to treat the many overweight and obese people already in our lives fairly.
Hey, Ralph, what's that, your lunchbox? Ralph, I know.
Hey, Ralph.
Peers are frequent perpetrators of weight bias, with school being the most common setting. Teasing can be in the form of verbal and physical aggression, as well as social exclusion. Many students face this torment daily. It takes a toll on their emotional and physical health and reduces their quality of life. One study even found that the quality of life for obese children is as low as children with cancer.
My friend was picked on by a teacher who he called her like chubby and stuff, and I just thought that was very uncalled for, and a teacher shouldn't say anything like that.
24% of overweight boys and 30% of overweight girls experience prejudice in middle school. That bias doubles in high school, where 58% of adolescent boys and 63% of adolescent girls are the victims of peer teasing.
Oh God, here comes the earthquake.
I've heard my friends talking about a girl who's only slightly heavier than me and like making fun of her, and it makes me wonder what they've said behind my back.
Unfortunately, attitudes towards weight among children worsen over time. We know that
Weight bias begins as early as age 3 in preschool and continues throughout elementary school, middle school, high school, and even college. So overweight and obese children are vulnerable targets of weight bias throughout their educational careers.
Studies show that children as young as 3 years old view overweight peers as mean, stupid, ugly, unhappy, lazy, having few friends, and undesirable as playmates. This all just based on the size of their bodies by 3 years old. Where does this come from?
Weight stigma comes from a series of experiences that people have just looking around them in the culture. They see how their parents discuss the issue of weight. They see how peers in schools discuss it. They see overweight people ridiculed on television shows and made fun of by comics and the like. And because of this, they develop quite negative attitudes that are very difficult to change.
By the time that children are in high school and college, they are experiencing multiple forms of weight bias, not just verbal comments or physical aggression, but also relational victimization in the form of social exclusion.
A lot of people assume that overweight people are dumb or lazy, but most of the time that's not the case. In fact, I do well in school, I get good grades, I'm part of the drama program, I exercise, and I dance after school, so in most cases, it's not true.
People are afraid of what's different from them. And so by making them as less of a person, then I guess they feel empowered.
Behind their back, they might talk about, oh, look at that shirt she was wearing. Her stomach's popping out and everything. I can't believe she'd even think of wearing something like that.
They'll just say like all these like fat jokes about like wide load coming through and all this stuff, and it hurts me to see people getting treated because I see how sad they are.
Most of the comments I get from them, because some of them are my friends, they say they heard comments like that before, and you just get used to it. And that's a problem, that you're getting used to it. That's something you're not supposed to get used to.
From nursery school through college, overweight students experience ostracism, discouragement, and unfortunately, even violence. For overweight students, the school experience is one of ongoing prejudice, unnoticed discrimination, and almost constant harassment. Overweight children are more likely than normal weight children to be victims of bullying. Obese children aged 12 to 16 are more often the victims of repeated group aggression or mobbing. And sadly, as a defense mechanism, some of them resort to becoming bullies themselves because they have nobody to turn to for support or help.
I've seen a couple kids that have been teased turn into bullies because they basically are trying to get back at everybody that has teased them and even people that haven't teased them. And it's just they want to put on this tough guy reputation, and it just turns them into a bully.
The diet and beauty industries bombard us day in and day out with the myth of the achievable, perfect body, perpetuating the cultural premium we place on thinness.
I think they might think that fat people are nasty just because they don't have the body of a supermodel or something, because supermodels don't even have that body. They're retouched by computers, so why does everybody think that everyone has to look like that?
Clothes shopping is one of my least favorite times of year, like going back to school and having to get a new wardrobe, and lots of times the clothes don't fit.
I hate shopping.
Well, it might be fun if anything actually fit.
Let's just go home.
You've got to find something. You can't go naked.
Fashion's stupid. Why can't I just wear something I already have?
Because nothing you have fits.
It makes me feel so, like, ugly.